Darkcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.
Warning. The following podcast may occasionally contain strong language and material that is not suitable for all ages. If you are easily offended, it is highly advised that you turn back now. However, if you're a degenerate, welcome, brethren. You've found your home.
Welcome to the Crime Diner. We are a Jersey podcast, and on the menu is a variety of true crime, cults, mysteries, historical hilarities, and sometimes victim stories. We do this within a Dinner with Friends theme. I'm Nydia.
I'm Dana.
I'm Cindy.
Last week, we had a Crime Diner takeover. We had Jess and Bryce of What Happens in the Woods, and they told us a story, which I really enjoyed. I enjoyed them.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, she's got a great podcasting voice.
I mean,
yeah.
It was like I was like envious of her podcasting voice.
Yeah, she's got a great podcasting voice. And their story was very compelling.
Hell yeah.
And we get to have chicken Alfredo every year in memoriam.
I mean, but you'd have to stay tuned so that you can know why you'd have to go to the Olive Garden every year in April.
Or go back and listen because it's last week's episode. Not stay tuned.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Okay. I'm time traveling.
You know, nowadays we have online dating, right? Tinder, Plenty of Fish, whatever these apps are, yeah? Grindr, if you will, sure.
Christian Mingle.
Yes, Farmers Only.
Is there a Farmers Only?
Yes.
Stop it.
FarmersOnly.com.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, bitch.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Where's Jill?
She's really lonely and out walking the cornfield again.
Do you think they will ever find us true love?
Not hanging out with us all day.
We used to be lonely.
Until we met on Farmers Only.
FarmersOnly.com is the new online dating site for farmers, ranchers, and good old country folks.
You don't have to be lonely at FarmersOnly.com.
City folks just don't get it.
Shit. Do they have a special set of skills?
I think they are really good at hoeing.
Dana, you need to go to the corner.
Yes, straight to the corner.
But I want to tell you about dating, 100 years ago, 90, 80 years ago.
Right.
The old time dating, when you couldn't just find a man at the grocery store or at church or whatever. You would maybe find the Lonely Hearts column, something like this.
Right, okay.
So we're going to talk about the dangers of dating via the magazine column.
Wait, how old-timey are we talking about here?
1920s, 1930s.
Oh, okay, because prior to that was matchmakers and
Yeah, so this is
Yentls, right?
Yeah. This is it's happening between 1920 and 1950.
Okay.
Okay.
So Lonely Hearts.
Yeah, Lonely Hearts column.
Okay. We'll get into Dana's story, but first, the food. Let us pray. Bless us, O patrons, for these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy donations through Patreon every month, under the power of the V podcast.
Cult.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. This is some kind of fried chicken.
Uh-huh.
Some kind of kale with bacon in it, or
it's probably
green.
collard greens.
Yeah. That's the white in you, honey.
Okay. Some sort of collard greens and some sort of gritty mashed potato with cheese. What is it?
Cornbread pudding.
Oh, fuck. Stop. Oh, I'm ready to eat. Let's get our grub on.
Yes, let's go. Why are we eating soul food?
Well, Dana, you told me Deep South.
Yes.
Deep South.
The Deep South.
Oh, shit.
Grandma's cooking.
You mean Ohio? That was a reference from last week. No, from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So this story is based in Alabama, Kentucky, a couple of different states, but basically the Deep South.
The Deep South.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had fried chicken.
All right.
With corn pudding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was looking at Nydia. I thought you were being like, hallelujah.
No. Giving you a warning.
Brains of chicken.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, fried chicken,
Uh-huh.
corn pudding, and collard greens. I don't know that I've had like a bite or two of collard greens, but like never really had like a whole plate of them. They were good. I did eat a little bit before I came here because I was dying. I think I had my sugars off too. But
Dana always eats 2 dinners, except she usually has more time between the 2 dinners.
I do. And I was eating it on my way here.
She ate 2 consecutive dinners today.
I'm like the reverse Hobbit. Instead of 2 breakfasts, I have 2 dinners.
Wait. Isn't it like breakfast and then 11 C's?
Second
11 Z's, second breakfast. That's how I eat when I'm at home.
Me too.
Uh-huh.
The fried chicken was great.
Thank you.
You feel good about cooking fried chicken for the podcast?
I do, because there's a lot of meals I don't normally make because I normally travel to your house.
That's right.
And now we don't have to travel.
We haven't had a change of scenery.
Yeah.
Yes.
The crime diner has moved to Cindy's.
She's different, y'all.
Yeah. She just threatened to assault us.
With her farts.
That's right.
Goodness. I would never.
She would never. She
Also-
only
Never.
assaulted her whole office with crop dusting. So
Exactly. Also, I feel like being picked on because like she didn't serve me.
that's right.
I had to stand there with my little plate in my hand.
The best was you were like, make sure you serve me just a little bit. She said, serve you, serve yourself. I'm like, oh shit. She's changed, y'all.
She has changed. She's really disrespectful. I was like, well, how do I serve myself? There's like no serving spoons. And she was like, you stop that right now.
We're not doing this.
And I was like, what the hell? I don't know where your utensils are. I'm not going to go through your whole kitchen.
My kitchen is a quarter of the size of your kitchen. There's literally just one drawer next to the stove.
I'm not going to go prying. I don't know if a dildo is going to pop out of one of those things.
Sure, in the kitchen. I'm a lesbian, but I'm not that kind of lesbian.
Right. So I just felt some kind of way. And then like I had to get up and get my own drink. The hell kind of shit is that?
I think you did try to have an attitude about it, but what are we drinking, speaking of drinks?
Bourbon sweet tea.
Bourbon sweet tea.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
Bourbon's whiskey, right?
Bourbon is whiskey.
Yeah, this is good because in my story, we have a lot of alcoholics who love whiskey.
Yes.
Corn whiskey. I don't know what corn whiskey is, but I guess it's made from corn.
I mean, you are a true genius.
I am sharpest tool in the shed.
Sharpest.
Let me see. Ooh, whiskey.
Damn.
I could drink it.
Yeah?
I'm gonna drink it. It could use maybe if I squeeze this, she's got a little garnish of very beautiful lime. Lemon, that's a lemon. Yellow means lemon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if I squeeze that in there, just a little.
You could squeeze some more in there.
Thanks,
I did
babe.
add some, but yeah, you could definitely add some more. Hiccups.
Oh,
I'm basically washing my hands with this lemon.
Yeah.
It's very hard to squeeze in here, but
what don't you like about it?
I don't like that I don't like the flavor of bourbon.
Oh.
It tastes brown. Like, you know what I'm talking, like, it tastes like brown liquor. Like, I don't like the taste of brown liquor.
I mean, it is in fact brown liquor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a white liquor person either. Like, it's too pungent, it's too strong.
Gotcha.
I'll take it back. I don't hate it because it's not like overbearingly sweet.
Yeah.
And the iced tea mix kind of like tamps it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use the lemon and
I was going to say,
spin
take
it.
a little lemon and spin it around. It does help.
Okay.
Because the lemon that the lemon that I put on it is sitting at the bottom. So if you move it around, it may help.
Got it.
So whiskey, fried chicken. I'm into this deep Southern meal.
It's Southern comfort.
Oh, that's a drink that I have not had in a very long time. Oh, really? Southern Comfort.
That's a drink I used to drink with Sprite in a 64-ounce cup at the movie theater.
Trash. You're trash.
I'm surrounded by trash. Okay, so I'm a teacher. Right?
No.
And I have cafeteria duty. Mm-hmm. And the cafeteria, the kids, it's middle school girls. So I have to watch them carefully because they will just do the most inappropriate things and just cause drama and everything. So today I was standing between 2 tables and the girls just kept laughing and laughing and laughing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, girls, why are you laughing so much? I've been standing here listening to your conversation and none of what you said is funny. Like, none of it.
Why are you so nosy?
And because they were talking so loud that I could hear their conversation. I was trying to mind my own business, but I couldn't, like...
Why are you so mean?
Because it was not funny, and they were just laughing obnoxiously. I was just like, funny? Ugh, you're not even funny. And then I said, are you on something? Like, do you need to go to the nurse? You high? Like, why are you laughing so much? They were just laughing at the stupidest things. Yeah. And it was like uncontrollable laughter. So then we move and we go into another section where we like watch movies and stuff like that. And the one girl it was 3 girls. So one girl, the ringleader, sends her friend up like on a dare. Miss Apollonia, did you ask us if we were high because we're black? And I was like, no, because you were laughing at something that was not funny. And then I turned around and I told the girl, let's say her name is Shirley. I was like, Shirley, you are not funny. That's the sad part. That is not funny.
You're so mean.
You are so not funny that I had to call your attention to how not funny you guys are. You need to work on your material. And I was like, you're mean. I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings. You're not funny.
Oh my God.
I know that she's like, that's her thing. She tries to be the funniest girl in the room. But she's not funny, bro.
It is tough when you try to be the funny one and you're not funny.
Yes. And she's always like, oh, I always have a lollipop. And the girls are bullies against adults and each other. Okay. So I always have a lollipop. And she's like, you really like that lollipop, don't you? You know what I'm saying? Like insinuating. She's a mean girl. And I put her in her place. I'm sorry. She's 12. And I feel like I won.
You bullied a middle schooler today.
I stuck up for myself.
Okay.
Because she was not nice to me.
It sounds like you started with her, actually.
I
No.
mean, you could have just let them laugh and enjoy their day.
It was so loud and obnoxious, and they're not supposed to be that loud and obnoxious. And then I was at the fucking Goodwill. Uh-huh. I guess I'm starting to develop a tolerance to my medicine.
I might need an adjustment.
So I was at the Goodwill, and this freaking lady blocked me in. And I was like, you know, instead of saying excuse me and just like leaving it that, I was like, oh, can I just scooch past you? Yeah. And she was like, the word is excuse me. And I was like, not today, bitch. I turned around and I said, oh, thank you for teaching me the word. Now I know that the word excuse me and what it means, right? And then I said I called her an idiot. And then I started to walk away, but I turned around real quick in case she was coming at me.
Did she respond to you at all?
No, she didn't.
Oh my God.
I know. That was a game of chicken right there.
Yeah, really.
That could have been a fight at the Goodwill.
Yeah, imagine.
That would have been so embarrassing.
Teacher arrested at the Goodwill.
Yeah. Oh my God, right?
How funny would that be? That would be so funny.
Oh my God. I'd be coming out of there in handcuffs.
Teacher / podcaster. Don't think we wouldn't talk about it on this fucking podcast. Cindy and I'd be like, breaking news. With
my hands behind my back, like in handcuffs. I'm like, my bargains.
You'll never take me away. Copper.
Can we get pictures?
That was so mean. She was so mean for nothing.
That was mean. That was mean.
I have no Christmas spirit. Fuck Christmas.
I see that. So I have some exciting news.
Oh shit! What? You're pregnant?
Yeah. I potentially am able to buy my house, buy the house that I'm living in, right? Uh-huh. So things have escalated over the last week or so since I've seen you. Okay. And we like have a contract. Oh. Like it just happened really fast, right? Oh, awesome. So they were like called me, you know, the guy that I'm working with, who is a friend of Danny. Danny like set the whole thing up. So I've been back and forth with him, and like I've been talking to him for like probably like 6 months trying to get, you know, things paid off and situated and blah blah blah. So he's like, I'm sending you this. It's like an e-cosign or something, so you can like sign documents on your phone or what, you know, with your finger, and you don't have to like paper and the whole thing. Okay, fine. So he sends me a link. It's like, follow the link. The link doesn't work. So I call him and I'm like, or I text him. I'm like, hey, the link is not working. He's like, I'll send you a new one. Link is not working. I'll send you a new one. Link is not working. I'm like, bro, I know how to follow a link. I'm like, I don't understand what the problem is with the link. So he's like, okay, I'll have some other guy from the office call you and talk to you, right? So meanwhile, I had to like get all this paperwork together, and I'm buying the house for my mom, so she had to get a bunch of paperwork together, and I needed to sign it. She needed to sign it. And of course, you know, I get everything together. I organize it all like 1A, 1B, 1C, whatever. Get everything organized. Send it over to my mom. All she needed to do was print out her part, sign it, send it back, and then I was going to send it off to them. Of course, she messages me at 10 o'clock at night. My printer is only printing out odd number papers. And I'm like, bitch, put in more because it probably wants you just to print it on the other side or something.
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, just put blank paper. It's not working. And I'm like, I can't, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing this tonight because the link and the thing. So the next morning she wakes up, the printer miraculously is working. Fantastic. Sends it over. I have a phone call with this guy. He's like, he called you. You didn't answer. No, he didn't. It's 2022. I have a fucking call log.
Right.
Motherfucker did not call me. Yeah. So whatever. Call me at 5:15. He calls me at 5:15. Link is miraculously working. Nothing wrong with the link. And I said, I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're going to be working with me for the next couple of weeks, I've been long convinced that my ancestors burned like innocent witches at the stake. So, and my family is cursed by like, the generations are cursed from these innocent witches. So like, feel free to like be possessed by what's happening here. It's going to affect you. I'm so sorry. So today he sends me more links and I needed to like, this was a little bit different. I need to screenshot it, sign it with my finger and send it back. Just because I was doing it on my phone, it probably could have been easier on the computer or something, but that's what was happening. So I go to like upload the link, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't tell if that was the right link. So I go to click on the link to like see the picture that I uploaded and it fucking sent. It sent. And I was like, but I don't know what I sent him. I don't know what I sent him. What did I send him? It could be anything.
Oh,
it could be anything. It was from my camera roll.
No, Dana.
So I'm like texting him and I was like, I just sent you a picture and I don't know what it was. And it 50-50 it's a nude, honestly. Can you just delete it without looking at it? I don't know what it is. Because I couldn't open the thing to like see what it was. He's like dying. And I'm like, I will drive my car off the bridge tonight. Like, don't think I won't do it. I'll like, you need to just make sure, just please don't open it. He's like, I deleted it. I opened it. It ended up being in like an old W2. And I was like, oh thank God. I was like, okay.
He was definitely opening it.
Of course he was going to open it.
And then he would have told us.
He was laughing so hard. I'm like, okay, well, at least I don't have to like, end it all over like some random guy seeing my nudes.
If it was nude, I would have known by now because he would have definitely texted Danny.
I was like, literally shitting a brick. Like, I was like, I can't. Why? This is not. No, I can't be trusted with technology. No. I thought it was my mother, but it's me. I can't be trusted with technology.
Oh my God.
I was like, I will do a lot to get this mortgage, but like sending you a nude seems
that's a lot.
Seems a bit too far.
That's excessive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that flan?
It is not flan.
What is it? Oh my God, it's so pretty. It looks like a coconut custard.
It's a buttermilk pie.
Oh, fuck.
You made that.
Like a long time ago, like a milk pie or something. Yeah, I don't know if it was buttermilk, but okay. All right.
This is a buttermilk pie.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
I'm interested.
My hips are going.
Buttermilk pie.
You've made this before.
It's something similar, certainly. Yeah. I think it was really good. Was it like a caramelization on top? What was the like crust on the top? Just the way it baked?
Just the way it baked.
That was good.
It was really, really good.
I didn't love how sweet it was, but when first of all, the whipped cream on top was like so icy cold.
Yeah, the whipped cream is like, it's God. Cold. It was in the fridge or whatever.
It was in the freezer, yeah.
It's we haven't had a cold dessert in a while. It's very good.
And the strawberry really cut the sweetness, and then I could eat it.
Yeah, it was so really, really delicious. I was telling them while we were eating it that it reminds me, there's a guy on TikTok called B. Dylan Hollis, and he does these videos where he takes recreates recipes from like the 30s, the 40s, Depression era food. And this sort of like, not that it tastes bad, but it like reminds me of like there's nothing to it, right? It's like people had nothing and they made
something
enough to feed their family. And it's interesting to see like how that happened.
I love him. I follow him, and every time I love his reaction because he's got
honest.
These expressions.
Yeah. He's animated.
Very animated, and when he loves something, you could see it in his face. And I'm like, I have saved recipes, and I actually have made one of his recipes, which was cornstarch cookies, and they were fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, melt in your mouth cookies.
That sounds disgusting, but you're like, that's gross, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, well, can you imagine a spoonful of cornstarch in your mouth?
Right.
Well, I watched him eat it and I was like, I have all those ingredients. Let me go. And I immediately went and made them. Yeah. And damn it if them damn cookies were not good.
Yeah. So that's what this dessert sort of reminded me of. Like, right. And that's the point. Like, this story is based in the deep, deep South during the Depression. This meal works perfectly for this story. It's not, we're going to talk about some of the food that she made, you know, but I would definitely think that she would have made a pie like this 100%.
Okay. Let's hear it.
You want to hear it?
In August of 1980, Carol Bundy confessed her connection to the Sunset Strip slayer who had been terrorizing Los Angelenos all summer.
In September of 2012, the cult of the Unification Church, also known as the Moonies, mourned the death of their leader, Sun Myung Moon.
Tune into Murder News every Friday to hear us detangle another twisted tale from true crime history.
If you're an amateur sleuth who hopes to someday solve a cold case or locate a missing person, tune into Murder News and start off your search with a deep dive into some fascinating and very solvable cases.
We always take a victim-first stance and like to focus on crimes affecting marginalized communities, which typically don't get enough media attention.
Subscribe to Murder News wherever you get your podcast to make sure you never miss an episode.
Murder News.
So today I got my story from Wikipedia, Murderpedia, the WHO, and findagrave.com. Also, I read a book called The Giggling Granny, Nannie Doss, the Serial Killer.
I know her.
Do you?
I know this story. I know Nannie Doss.
Ooh, I've never heard of it.
Okay.
No.
So
she's a sadistic.
Yeah. So Nancy Hazel was born November 4th, 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama. But everybody would call her Nanny.
She was born in 1905?
Yes. She was born to Louisa Lou Holder and a military man who was stationed in her town. Now, many reports will say that like her father was her father, but my understanding is that she was born out of wedlock and then her mother married James F. Hazel, who owned a dirt farm.
He's a dirt farmer?
Yeah, he's a dirt farmer. He farms dirt.
Okay. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
So I looked it up because I was like, what is a dirt farmer? Like you hear about that like back in Depression times. And basically it's just like a person who owns a farm on his own, like in his backyard. You know, he didn't have any staff. Like he didn't have any like people working for him. Like he probably like grew like a bushel of potatoes and like 3 potatoes and like maybe a couple of cukes or something and sold them on a stand. And they were dirt poor. Okay. Like these people had no money, no resources.
Oh, that makes so much sense because it's like a dirt, like on a little dirt patch.
It's literally what that is. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
They would go on to have 4 more children, a little boy and 3 more girls. By the age of 5, Nanny had learned to cut wood, plow the fields, pull the weeds from a farm, and scrub pots and pans and clean the house. By 5.
Wow. Fuck. By 5?
Yeah. The children and their mother hated James, and they all lived in fear of him. He was like a tyrant. He didn't let the children take the 2-mile walk to school very often because they needed to farm dirt or whatever.
Right.
Obviously, this hindered Nanny's academic performance, but she still learned how to read, and it was one of the only ways she found joy in her life.
Reading.
Yeah, she loved it. Particularly, she fell in love with romance novels, and she would dream of the day that someone would come and sweep her off her feet, like she had read in these stories.
Really? I dreamed of the day that somebody would slide their hand down my pants. That's usually what those romance novels were all about.
I mean, maybe not in 1915, but I mean, maybe, right?
They were real racy.
Were they racy? So at age 7, while taking a family trip, on a train to visit some family in southern Alabama, Nanny hit her head on a metal bar on a seat in front of her when the train suddenly stopped. Like the train slammed on its brakes for whatever reason. She flung forward and she slammed her head.
Shit.
And for years after that, she suffered from severe headaches, blackouts, depression, and Nannie would later claim that this is the incident that caused her mental instability. James was a rigid dictator, and this continued into their teenage years.
James, her dad.
Her father, yeah. He would not allow the girls to have any friends, wear makeup, wear attractive clothing, go to any dances, social events, for fear that they would be molested. Which, of course, she ended up being molested anyway by a string of men. This was well before she was ever even a teenager.
Ew, who was molesting her?
Like, I think it was, like, fairly common back then to, like...
molest girls?
Yeah, just,
gross.
like, around you. Like, Uncle whoever, the guy down the
Diddler.
street. Yeah, right. She was also blamed for this. Like, she shouldn't have been dressed that way. Shouldn't have been over there, whatever. In 1921, when she was 16, she convinced her father that it would help the family out if she got a job at the local linen factory. You know, earn some money while the dirt was not
potatoes.
crumping or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
And he thought this was a great idea. Good job. So any spare money that she had, she would buy herself romance novels.
Oh, shit.
She loved them. And this is where she began her first interaction with boys.
Of course, because those romance novels put the wiles in your pants.
And maybe she would be able to find her knight in shining armor. Guess what?
She didn't.
Well, the boys loved her.
I bet.
They loved her dark hair, her eyes, her infectious giggle, and most of all, they loved that she would have sex with them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Woman, thou art loose. You know whose infectious giggle I love?
Who?
Cindy's.
Yeah, especially when she's like wheezing through it.
Fuck all the way off.
Cindy's beautiful infectious laugh is at the end of every episode. If you want to stay tuned for that.
So one of the men she met at the linen factory was Charlie Braggs, a handsome curly-haired boy who met the approval of her father because of the way he took care of his mother. James felt like it showed signs of decent, old-fashioned respect for elders. So after a very reasonable 4 months of dating, the two of them were married.
Okay. What year was it?
May 8th, 1921.
Oh, look at you.
Charlie was the only son of a single mother who insisted on continuing to live with him after they were married.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Nannie later wrote,
I'm married, as my father wished, in 1921 to a boy I only knowed about 4 or 5 months, who had no family, only a mother who was unwed and who had taken over my life completely when we were married. She never seen anything wrong with what she gone done, but she would take spells. She would not let my own mother stay all night.
And Charlie's mother took up a lot of his attention and limited Nannie's activities. The couple had their first daughter, Melvina, in 1923. And then in rapid succession, 3 more daughters. Just bam, 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 bam.
Wow.
Nannie's dreams of a life of romance were dashed in a few short years. The stressed out Nannie started drinking and smoking heavily. Charlie would leave for days and days on drinking binges and having affairs, while Nannie would go to the local bars and get up to her own good times, you know?
Right.
Then one day in 1927, while Charlie was out on a bender, the couple's 2 middle daughters suddenly died from what doctors suspected to be an accidental food poisoning.
What?
The community rallied around the grieving mother, but when Charlie came home to 2 of his daughters being deceased, he had a feeling it was no accident. And in the middle of the night, he took his oldest daughter, Melvina, and fled, claiming he was scared of her. But he did leave behind his youngest daughter, Florine, and his mother.
Those names are horrible.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So who did he think was like, he thought it was his wife?
Yeah. Yeah, he said he was scared of her.
But let me leave these.
I'm going to take my favorite daughter. I'm going to take the good one.
I'm going to take the survivors.
I think the baby, the Florine was a baby. Like, still breastfeeding, actually.
Okay.
Like, pretty small. And he didn't take his mother, because I don't know why. Which is unfortunate, because within a few short weeks, mother-in-law Braggs bit the dust.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Accidental poisoning again?
No one can say for sure.
Okay.
Nannie took a job in a cotton mill to support Florine and herself because the small insurance payout she got from the kids was not enough to sustain her. But in the summer of 1928, Charlie shows back up with Melvina, his new girlfriend, and another kid because he wants his farm back because they were living on his farm, you know?
Oh, shit.
He wanted a divorce, so he kicks Nannie out and makes her and the 2 remaining daughters go back to her parents' house. He's like, oh, actually, I'm done with Melvina. You could take her with you, too.
Oh, my God.
Hit bricks back to the dirt farm, please. In Nannie's attempts to find love and romance that she so desperately dreamed of, she began corresponding with men from the Lonely Hearts column. One of the men she met through the column was a factory worker named Frank Harrelson. The black and white photo he sent to her reminded her of Clark Gable. So, in return, she sent him a cake. And with the cake, she sent a nude. Well, the book I read said an alluring photo, but it was probably a nude.
Well, okay, let's talk about an alluring photo in that time.
Yeah, because that shit had to go to a developer. Someone had to develop that shit.
Right, yeah. All right, what did it look like in your mind?
So, show her a picture of what Nannie looks like, first of all. And of course, you're only going to see pictures of her after she's been arrested. So she's older. But at this point, she's 20, maybe, because she got married at 16. She's 20 years old. She's got 4 kids. She's already got a divorce under her belt.
Oh my God. Let me see.
I'm Googling it.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were at the ready.
Yeah, jeez. So did I. Sorry.
No. She's only 20?
You could tell.
Not there.
No, not there. She was already arrested and old there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
she seems happy.
Yeah, she's thrilled. She's
Wait, so I bet you when she was young, she was actually very pretty.
They said that she was pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the,
you could tell from her features and whatnot.
Yeah.
You could tell she was probably very pretty when she was young.
Also, think about it. It's Depression era Alabama.
Yeah.
They're dirt farmers.
Right. Yeah, but there's that one picture, Time Life, that famous picture during the Depression era of a lady trying to sell her kids.
Yeah. She's very beautiful.
She's beautiful.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
So if that's what she looks like, just think about it. She's probably wearing okay. No.
How old was she there?
Probably in her 40s, I would think.
Oh, those 50s? Are her grandkids? Not her
kids?
Those are her grandkids, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I'm still very old.
Yeah. I mean, you really couldn't be taking a ton of pictures in 1920, 1925.
Right. She sent a nude.
She sent an alluring photo.
Yeah.
So now I will say this, is because she always read these romance novels and magazines and stuff, it was said that she was very put together really well. You see pictures of her in court, she's wearing these these pink I don't know, business suits.
Really?
These very she's very put together.
Oh.
And as she's older, people like her. She's fun, she's funny. Nobody ever suspects her. She kills a lot of people before anyone suspects that no one, I mean, maybe her family, I think her family did suspect.
Right.
But the people in the community, they were like, we love her so much. She's so friendly. She's so kind. She sets up the church functions and brings food, which definitely don't eat any of her food.
Oh my God.
So anyway, she sends a nude, right?
Okay. Or an alluring
photo.
Right.
Do you want to describe it, what you think it might be like?
She's looking over her shoulder, and it's a bare shoulder. And she's got
shoulder.
She's got a bare elbow too.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And just a little side breast is showing.
Oh my gosh, that
is lurid.
Oh, see, I was thinking she had the knee-high sock pulled down a little too much, and her knee was exposed. She's lifting up her long flowery dress.
Oh my God,
her whole shin is exposed.
Not the calf.
Actually, so when we went to the Lizzie Borden house, they were showing pictures of the crime scenes, and they were talking about how they had covered up the victim's feet, the dad's feet. They put his shoes back on because that's scandalous to have his socks showing, and they pulled her dress down.
Oh my goodness.
So that her thighs, and she, back then it was
not the ankle.
Everything,
Not
up to
ankle.
The knees, it was showing. So they had to pull the skirt down so that it wouldn't show.
Destroying all evidence in the process.
Oh my God. Well, let me tell you, my great grandmother, Natalia, she used to have to wear a turtleneck. You know what I mean? Not a turtleneck, but those high Victorian necks. And she had to have a long sleeve dress all the way down to the, to the wrist. And her dress had to be ankle length. Jesus. And I'm oh my God, in 80, 90 degree weather in Puerto Rico wearing that. I could never imagine.
A true nightmare.
And then there's an alluring picture of my mother laying on a bed like with her knees bent, like, and she's like laying back seductively in her bra. You could see her really brown nipples. And then like she's wearing like a leopard panty, but it's like very sheer. It's 1970s, and it's like 20-year-old mom, and her 1970s bush is a giant triangle. Nydia. So we took that picture, and for her 50th birthday, we had it made into a cake. And my dad, it was so fucking funny. And my dad took it and cut the slice of the punani. And he's like, that's my slice. Of the 1970s bush poking through the panties. My God. Mind you, my boyfriend, my husband at the time saw the cake. My brother, everybody saw this cake. The people at Walmart
your mom
saw the
so
cake.
Mad?
No, she just thought it was funny.
That is fucking hilarious.
Yes. Her 1970s picture. I might still have the fucking picture. I have to show it. It's so fucking hilarious.
So anyway, they decided to meet, and in 1929, Frank proposed to Nannie, and she accepted. Her, Melvina, and Florine moved in with Frank. The honeymoon did not last long, as her Clark Gable wannabe turned out to be a drunk whose hobby was picking fights in bars that she would have to come and bail him out of jail for.
Damn.
Despite his drinking and abuse, she stayed with him for years, like 16 years, and raised the girls to marrying age.
Oh, she didn't have any kids with Frank?
No. In 1943, Melvina had her first baby, Robert, with her husband, Mosey Haynes. And in 1945, she was pregnant again with baby number 2.
In 1985?
1945. This labor was long and troubled, and Mosey went and got Nannie to be with her during the delivery. And Nannie showed up for Melvina. She stayed by her side the whole time, wiped the sweat off of her, cheered her on, like the works.
Right.
Melvina gave birth to a baby girl, and an hour later, the baby died.
Oh.
The doctors seemed puzzled, but they chalked it up to like the long delivery. Maybe it lost like oxygen or something during like being stuck in a birth canal. Like, I don't know. But Melvina had this weird feeling that she just couldn't shake. Melvina had been given ether during the birth, and after the child was born, she was drifting in and out of sleep. So she wasn't sure if what she remembered was correct or if it was a dream or a nightmare. But she thought that she saw her mother stick a hat pin into the soft spot of the baby's head and like kill it.
Ouch.
When she told Florine, her sister, and her husband Mosey about the dream she had had, they both said that they had seen Nannie holding a hat pin while she was by Melvina's bedside. But this seemed far-fetched even for Nannie to be taken too seriously.
Didn't the doctor see a hole in the top of the head?
I mean, no, like, maybe they put a hat on her. I don't know. Like, nobody probably, like, checked to... Babies died all the time back then. You know what I mean? Oh, well, it died.
Yeah.
Like, bury it in the backyard or something. I don't know.
Right. Ew. God. How insensitive.
I mean, that shit happened all the time
back
then.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God. That's so wild. Go ahead.
So nobody really, like, they thought it, maybe. They felt it, but, like, they don't know. So Nannie ended up being a wonderful grandmother to Robert, doting on the little boy. But on July 7th, 1945, while she was babysitting little Robert, he died in her care. The family doctor said that the boy died of asphyxiation. What happened to him? Nobody knows.
Oh my God.
Nannie wailed at the funeral. She threw herself on the tiny coffin as it was lowered into the ground. But she did collect on a $500 life insurance policy that Melvina did not know existed.
Was the baby insured too? Like,
No.
why would she kill the baby? Like, what was the reason?
So the thought is, and of course, like, nobody knows, right? But, like, the thought is that she saw that Melvina was, like, having the same life as her, where she had these, like, babies in rapid succession. And she was like, nah, fuck that. Don't do that.
Right.
But, like, maybe
But also-
Melvina wanted to have those kids, you know? Like,
Right. But also, like, then she kills the only child that
she
Melvina
does
has.
have, yeah.
Ugh.
So that same year, Japan surrendered to the Allied powers and ended World War II. Frank, as well as everybody else across the world, went out to celebrate. She would later claim that he had come home and beat her and raped her that night. The following day, as she was tending to her garden, Nannie discovered Frank's corn whiskey jar that had been buried in the ground, which was an old habit from his prohibition days, you know, when it's illegal. She opened the jar, filled it with rat poison, and then watched as Frank died a slow and painful death that night.
Oh my God.
This is not a fun way to die. The immediate symptoms of acute arsenic poison include vomiting, abdominal pain, diarrhea, numbness and tingling of extremities, muscle cramping, and death. 2 years later, she was bopping around for 2 years. We don't really have any, clear, cut where she was for 2 years.
Reading her romance novels.
Yeah. She met a man in the Lonely Hearts column named Arlie Lanning. They, fell in love, and just after 2 days of knowing each other, guess what? They got married.
Wow. 2 days?
Yeah.
Stop!
But, surprise to literally no one, Arlie is a drunk. But at least this time he's not abusive. But he sure did love to cheat on her.
What the fuck? She's like, is she writing this is what I want?
I don't know what she's doing. Whenever he would go off on a bender, she would pack up her bags and leave, telling the neighbors that she was off to visit family, and sometimes she would leave for months at a time. People in the community felt so bad for Nannie, who was seemingly the best wife to a drunken husband. She was always baking and helping at the church, planning functions and events, and they put up with Arlie because they loved Nannie so much.
Right.
But they wouldn't have to worry for too long, because in 1950, Arlie became ill with dizziness, sweating, and constant vomiting.
Wow.
So weird.
So weird.
He died 2 days later in excruciating pain. And considering the life he had been leading, no one was surprised or batted an eye.
Right. They probably thought it was cirrhosis or,
anything, yeah.
Right.
Nannie was quoted saying,
"He sat down one morning to drink a cup of coffee and eat a bowl of prunes I especially prepared for him. Up till then, why, let me tell you, he looked like a fine shape. Then, 2 days later, dead. I nursed him, believe me, I nursed him, but I failed."
I bet she nursed him.
Oh, she nursed him all right. But,
why?
To Nannie's surprise, the house was left to Arlie's sister and not to Nannie.
Shit.
Yeah. But mysteriously, while Nannie was out taking the TV to the TV repair shop, the house burned right down to the ground.
No, it didn't.
Burned right down to the ground.
This must be the unluckiest Southern woman that ever did live.
She was lucky enough to be having her TV taken to the repair shop.
Let me guess. And all her clothes.
All her shit packed in the car.
It's all going to the repair shop,
That's
honey.
right. After the house burned down, she moved in with Arlie's elderly mother. And wouldn't you know it, died almost immediately while in her sleep in Nannie's care.
Peacefully, no less.
I'm sure.
I mean, now that we have the budget to hire these fancy actors, voice actors.
Actually, in some of the story, retelling of the stories I heard, people were talking about what it sounds like to listen to someone die of arsenic poisoning, and they are howling in pain for days. Yeah, it's very horrific. She would have had to been sitting in the other room just sipping her tea with her pinky up, just listening to them
Jesus
die
Christ.
really horrifically. Yeah, because imagine your stomach, you're vomiting, diarrhea, muscle cramps, your stomach is cramping, your arms and legs are. It's very painful. It's very painful. So once she was able to collect on the homeowner's insurance for the fire, her and her recently repaired TV hauled off into the sunset for their next big adventure.
Right.
She made her way to her sister Dovey's house, who was suffering from cancer.
Wait, after the mother-in-law died?
Yeah.
She didn't stay in the house?
The mother's house? No.
Oh, okay.
That probably went to Arlie's sister too, but she wouldn't have had any claim to it because,
That is true. That is true, yes.
So she left and she went to stay with her sister Dovey, who was suffering from cancer. Which, honestly, at this point, simply do not let this woman come to you.
No,
never
near you.
No. Once Nannie arrives, surprised to no one, Dovey's condition rapidly declines, and she also dies in her sleep under Nannie's care. And she stays in Dovey's house, by the way. She hangs out there for, I don't know.
This is my place now.
Yeah. This is when she finds out about the Diamond Circle Club. And this is a singles club that costs $15 a year. And through this club, she met recently retired businessman Richard Morton.
Wait a minute. So you pay $15 a year to go to this singles club and singles mingle?
Yeah, I guess they were describing it a newsletter comes out with this is the most attractive singular. Yeah, whatever. And then you could talk to them somehow. I don't really know how singles clubs work.
Because why would you pay for a membership if you were looking for the one?
You certainly must have gotten, because they back then, people dated, you would go on many dates. you would get like a little pin or something, right?
Yes,
you would like neck in the back of the car. Yeah, I mean, this is also like a woman now. She's like a grandmother, so like
okay.
But also she's probably like 40 because like she's a grandmother. She started having kids at 16. Her kids probably had kids at like
she's probably like 30.
Yeah, she's like 35 or something. Yeah. Anyway, Richard was all the things Nannie wanted. Tall, dark, handsome. And while he was courting her, he bought her jewels. He bought her clothes. Like, I mean, he did it, you know?
Wow.
And that's exactly what she was looking for. She wanted someone to like romance her, wine and dine her, like take care of her, you know?
That's what I want too.
Me too, girl.
Come on.
Richard was not a drunk like the other husbands, but he was not a truther.
Oh, no.
And he was up to his eyeballs in debt.
Oh, shit.
Not only that,
I'd rather get the drunk.
At least he's going to fall asleep at some point.
I mean.
He also had a long-term girlfriend that he was not planning on ending the relationship with.
Ugh.
But before she had the opportunity to poison Richard,
spoiler alert,
her mother showed up to stay with her upon the death of her father.
She didn't kill him?
No. She just like, I think she just stayed away from him mostly because like she really hated him.
Right.
But, you know, when her mother arrived, this was simply not a burden that Nannie was willing to take on.
Right.
So, January 1953, her mother, Louisa, complaining of pains in her stomach and died. And a few months later, Richard was dead as well, complaining of the same stomach ailments. So strange.
Oh my God.
Nannie was not going to waste any time being single. In fact, she had been answering Lonely Hearts ads for 2 months prior to Richard ever experiencing a stomach pain at all. And she had started writing to Samuel Doss. Now, Samuel Doss had had a difficult life that saw a lot of tragedy. Aside from fighting in World War I, he'd lost his wife and 6 children in the largest tornado to ever hit Madison County, Kansas. Their house was literally lifted up, smashed down in a ravine, and every person was killed inside while he was at work, just like down the street.
Oh my God.
Everybody, his wife, his 6 kids, like every animal that was on their farm, like he lost everything that day.
Holy shit.
And it seemed like I posted a link to like the article of that from the time. And it's like, you know how like tornadoes sometimes like go through a town and just like destroy one thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of things were destroyed. It was a terrible tornado, but that house in particular just like fucking demolished.
Wow.
Really sad. With his faith in God, he was able to survive this tragedy, but it took him, understandably, a very long time to be able to, you know, get back out there and date again, or even want to. And then he meets Nannie.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He was nothing like the other men she married. Samuel was a minister as well as a state highway inspector. He did not drink at all. He didn't cheat on her. He was a straight-laced church-going man. His fatal flaw? He was boring and set in his ways.
Oh, Nannie.
His bedtime was 9:30 promptly.
Oh, shit.
He did not approve of watching TV. He was strict with the household budget, and he did not approve of Nannie's romance novels. He felt they were like of the devil, you know?
Okay, yeah, let's kill him. Quick.
One night in September, after Nannie had cooked him a fantastic, beautiful Southern dinner.
Was it fried chicken?
It might have been fried chicken, a little corn pudding, a little collard greens.
A little collard greens with some ham.
Yeah. He complained of stomach pains, and he was admitted to the hospital and was diagnosed with a severe digestive infection. Unfortunately for Nannie, she did not take into account that Samuel was in really good shape, unlike the people she had previously killed, who were either small children, old sickly women, or alcoholics that had been drinking for many years.
Right.
Samuel didn't die from the poison. He fought it off for 23 days in the hospital.
Holy shit.
He was released from the hospital in October 1954.
And they didn't realize that it was arsenic poison?
They did not. No.
Fuck.
They didn't know. To celebrate, Nannie cooks him a delicious roast pork, followed by her specialty, stewed prune pie.
Oh, fuck. If that was the dessert that you had planned on suggesting for this thing, I would have smushed that in your face.
If you think for 1 minute, I would bring prunes to this gassy motherfucking podcast, I would never get any editing done.
Oh my God.
Stewed prune pie was like her favorite way to poison them because it was like her specialty, quote unquote. But it really, the sweetness of the prunes hid the poison. They couldn't taste it.
Right. And also, like, if that's his favorite dessert, like, that is one boring effer.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was his favorite dessert, and because some of the retellings of the story was like he didn't really like sweets, so she had poisoned him in the coffee, in his nighttime coffee, which is like sociopathic that he drinks coffee at night, but like, and still goes to bed at 9:30 at night. Like,
are you a Puerto Rican baby?
So I'm not exactly sure how he was poisoned, but the book that I read said that it was in that meal.
Okay.
Whatever was in that meal. Just like that, he's dead.
Shit.
When his doctors heard about this, they were fucking stunned because they're like, we just sent him home. He made a remarkable recovery.
Right.
And they smelled a rat. Well, rat poison. The doctors wanted an autopsy. And when they performed it, he was filled with arsenic. They said enough arsenic was in his body to kill 12 horses.
Oh my God. He must have died in so much pain.
Oh my God, yeah. So Nannie was immediately a suspect and they brought her in for questioning. Her demeanor was so odd that she giggled all through her interview, earning her the moniker the Giggling Granny.
Shit.
She had some other fun ones too. The Lonely Hearts Killer, the Jolly Widow, and the Black Widow. Groups of psychiatrists came to examine her, and she was found to be mentally sound. On May 17th, 1955, she pled guilty to the murder of Samuel Doss, and she was sentenced to life in prison. Now, when they were interviewing her, she does not admit to all of these crimes.
Okay.
She eventually admits to killing 4 husbands, which is not as bad as, like, killing 11 people, but most people believe that she killed all of these people. She would get highly offended. She would be like, I ain't kill any of my kin. None of my blood kin. To that I say, I'm not sure about that, ma'am.
I love how you said, I ain't killed none of my kin.
That's what she said. There's like audio of her you can listen to. And she's got like a deep Southern accent.
Oh,
very like, you know, it's hard to hear because it's so old.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't mean it in an offensive way, please. It's
We're
like,
a little offensive, but
I don't mean it. I love it.
Yeah, no, I think it's great.
I fucking love it.
There's this little boy, like a little Southern boy on TikTok, and he's so cute in his little Southern accent. And there was a British guy that like stitched it and was like, wait, I thought we were making fun of Americans. They really talk like that. Like some of us do.
Oh, no, but I love it.
I think it's so sweet.
I love an accent. I don't care where
Any
it's
accent,
from.
absolutely.
I love it.
So she was sentenced to life in prison. This case was huge at the time. The media could not get enough of the granny who killed so many people. They were just shocked that, like, you've seen pictures of her. Like, she does not look murderous, right? She looks like a granny from 1950.
Right.
Like, that's what she looks like. Like, exactly what the curly hair, the cute little dress. Like, you could see her with an apron and, like, flour on her or something.
Right.
Which, like, if you do, bitch, run. Because she probably poisoned something around you. And she could not get enough of the media either. Smiling for the cameras and giggling through interviews. Fucking Time Life interviewed her. Like, people, they were into her. Nannie Doss died in Oklahoma State Penitentiary of leukemia on June 2nd, 1965. Literally 10 years, like, to the day of like, her arrest. Yeah.
Wow.
And my understanding of leukemia in the 60s, it was pretty horrific way to die, especially like in jail. Probably wasn't real pleasant for her. Not that she deserved anything like at all. She probably exactly what she deserved.
But, yeah.
But yeah,
Jesus,
that's the story of the Giggling Granny.
The Giggling Granny. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Why did she kill her 2 kids? And her grandkids.
I think some of the conversation around it is that it would be easier for her to find a different husband if she only had 2 kids instead of 4.
Oh, yeah, that's
you know,
true.
like how's she going to survive trying to raise 4 kids?
Right.
Like, you know, this guy was not going to help her. So like, and of course, all of this is speculation of like what the time was like in the 1920s, 1930s, you know. What she probably would have had to endure and like what she wanted, right? Like what she wanted for her life was not necessarily like riches or anything, but it was just like to be romanced, to be wined and dined, to be loved.
Yeah, but
and
that's,
like a very specific type of love. No, of course not. Right. Yeah. No, it's not real. It's not real.
Right.
But like, and she would say like, oh, you know, I had these doctors come and look at my head and they talked about mental, you know, stability or whatever. She's like, I don't know what these fancy words are, but like, I bumped my head when I was 7. I've never been right since, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she was just like...
Oh, I mean, listen, she might be onto something.
She might be onto something, yeah.
No, it is stated that that's one of the things.
Yeah, right? Head injuries are no good, especially when you're little and you're developing your brain, you know?
Yes.
But yeah.
The time that you hit your head the most when you're little.
Yeah, right, right.
Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the Giggling Granny.
Yeah.
Watch out for her.
Oh my God. Like... You know, I've told the story that my mom poisoned an entire congregation.
Yes, yeah.
With lemonade, and they all had to be hospitalized. But Jesus Christ, could you imagine, like, just offing people with, like...
I mean, left and right. This shit went on, it was like a span of like 25 or 30 years, something like that. I mean, she was killing one a year for like a while there in the middle, like sometimes 2 and 3 in a year. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of grieving. She must have owned a lot of black clothes.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of funerals.
Yeah, definitely.
Jesus Christ. Well, that's it for us. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime, subscribe so you don't miss out. We have merch. We have Patreon. We have Buy Me a Coffee. And speaking of Buy Me a Coffee, we had listener Christina Owens buy us 3 drinks. She writes, "Y'all crack me up."
Is she from Alabama?
I don't know, but I'm making her from there. Y'all crack me up. Y'all play too much. My play cousins. That's not what she said. No. She said, "Y'all crack me up. Keep doing what you're doing." All right, Christina. Here's to being naughty and saving Santa a trip. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, bitch. Thanks for buying us a drink.
Hell yeah. And I'm sorry I made you Southern. I don't know if you are. Be like Christina.
That's right.
And buy us a drink. Or write a review. Or share this with someone, you know.
If you're cheap, yeah.
Right. Like, spread it like the STD you spread when you were a freaking hoe in high school.
I can't with you.
You can connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Wait, is Twitter still a thing?
As of today.
All right. So all of those other things, TikTok and all that stuff. Check you out next week. And remember, do not get taken to the second location. Be good or be good at hiding a body. Cheers.
Are you okay? Jesus Christ. You're so fucking loud. You're disgusting and I hate you both. Oh, God.